everyone, I'm Jodi and welcome to my channel. I'm really glad that you're here today. So if you're like me, you like to incorporate some of the latest and greatest beauty and makeup trends into your routine without looking, dare I say, trendy. I just want to have a current look, but I don't want one that's going to make me look older. I don't care if I look younger, I just don't want to look older. But some of these trends, if not adapted for our more maturely modified face, you know, the face that is collagen deficient and losing eyelashes and all the fun stuff that happens when we get into our upper 40s and 50s and 60s and 70s. Well, not every trend is meant for us. We'll leave those to the younger, beautiful YouTubers and our daughters and granddaughters to incorporate. But what trends should we leave behind and what trends should we incorporate? Or can we just incorporate all of them with a more maturely modified approach? I've got your answer, so stick around because we're going to go through the top 12 trends that can be aging your appearance. So stay tuned because we're going to get right to it. Now, one of the first trends that can be aging your look is your matte foundation. Before we get to foundation, it's critically important that we are exfoliating, exfoliating, exfoliating. Now, while it's not a trend, it should be. It should be a trend always. It should be part of your regular routine to exfoliate because as we age, our skin tends to get drier and drier. And with that process comes dry, flaky pieces of skin. And if we're not sloughing that off with a good exfoliant, then we are just putting foundation or our moisturizer or our serums on top of those, and it allows our foundation, our powders, our cream blushes to grab onto those tight areas of dry skin and look very uneven and patchy. And I'm sure you've had days where you've looked in the mirror and thought, why does my makeup look like this? It can be from lack of exfoliating. So that's not a trend that's making you age, but if you're not doing it, it's definitely making you look more older than perhaps you'd like to. Exfoliating will absolutely help you with all of these makeup techniques to get the most out of the look and the application. So when it comes to matte foundations can be somewhat dry looking on the skin and give you a lackluster type look. Think of it the same as your hair. Healthy, shiny hair looks more youthful than dry, dull hair. The same as with your foundation. Now, many of us have a matte foundation that we absolutely love. You are not alone in that. This All Hours foundation by YSL has been a staple in my collection since it came out, and it is clearly matte. But I don't want to throw it away because it's a good coverage for me. It's not too full coverage, and I found a color that I love. I just take my matte foundation, put one dab on the back of my hand, and I mix it with the Smashbox Halo, therefore creating a glowy foundation with my matte foundation. And I don't have to throw anything out. I don't have to go through the pain of finding a new color that matches. I am good to go with my updated foundation look. Now, trend number 2 is all about contouring. It's not so much if you contour or not, it's how you contour and how dark your contour. First and foremost, you want to pick a contour that is just about 1 to 2 shades darker than your foundation. How you blend it is important because if you blend it, just like you would your blush, for example, you can be blending it lower than where you placed it. So placement and blending direction is important. So when you contour, just take one that's a few shades darker than your foundation, put it where you want to contour, and then take it and blend up and back towards your hairline. Same if you're contouring in this area, you'd want to contour very lightly around that hairline and then blend back into the hairline, not forward, just back into the hairline ever so slightly. Trend number 3 is overarched brows. We are all guilty of this to some degree, but if you take a look at the trends of years gone by, there was a little bit more of an arch to our brow. And when you look at your more youthful self and when you were in your teens, you didn't necessarily have arched brows. They were a little bit softer and had a nice curve to them. Now, you definitely don't want to do a U shape because you have both ends of that U facing down, which pulls and elongates your face. Instead, just draw a nice soft line across the bottom with an ever so slight arch, somewhere between an upside down V and an upside down U, but not quite so much of an arch. So to achieve that, you're just going to go really soft across the bottom, across with your natural line, and then also across the top with little feathery strokes until you get the overall shape that you're looking for. Now this leads us to trend number 4, that heavy one-dimensional colored eyebrow. Gone are the days of that thicker brow that's all one color. We definitely want to have our brows appear larger and thicker, but not solid one color. So in order to achieve that, you'll just take whatever eyebrow pencil you have, a shade darker than your root color, draw your outline like we just did, and then just put pencil strokes as if you are making individual hairs. Now you can get fancy and have 2 different color eyebrow pencils. I don't necessarily do that because less product is easier and more efficient for me, but you can absolutely do that. And then leave the front of your brow for the very end, and you'll just do smaller, lighter handed strokes in the front to achieve a little bit more of a soft ombre-ish type brow. And remember, your eyebrows are sisters, they're not twins, they should not look identical. I just like to go back and brush them up ever so slightly so that I'm pulling that spoolie through the pencil that I just drew and giving it a little bit more dimension and breaking up any solidness that might be in the brow so that you can see areas of skin underneath your brows. That's just a nice, softer, less harsh look, but still looks like you've got nice brows. And feel free to draw extra brows if you don't have the thickness that you want, or use a brow gel that has a color in it that closely matches your eyebrow pencil, and then you can spoolie those through and gives you a little bit more, all those little fine light or gray hairs that are up there, they'll grab some of the color from your brow gel and give you that appearance of a bigger brow. Trend number 5 is that bright under eye area. Now we've all been guilty of applying our concealer like this and creating that bright under eye area. It not only ages your appearance, but it also looks cakey underneath your eye. And if you have glasses and use a thick concealer, we all know what that looks like with our wrinkles as we age. The better alternative is to make sure your under eye area is very nourished and moisturized by putting your moisturizer right in that area as you're doing the rest of your makeup. Then you'll want to apply a color corrector and then cover that with your foundation. Then you want to take your concealer. I prefer one with a doe foot applicator that is 1 to 2 shades, no more, lighter than my foundation. Go from the corner of my eye up past the tail of my eyebrow in an upward motion, a little bit on the inner corner of your eye, and just a few dots in the outer corner of our mouth. And that's because our face tends to droop as we get older and we lose collagen. So just a little bit of highlight almost gives an optical illusion that the face is slightly more lifted. And then I like to blend that in with a damp beauty sponge. Trend number 6 is all about shimmer, glimmer, metallic eyes. Now, a little bit of shimmer can go a long way, but as we mature, metallic colors can be a little bit difficult to incorporate in your overall mature, soft glam look. Instead, you'll want to stick for more matte colors in neutral-ish type tones. Now, adding a splash of color to coordinate with what you're wearing, for example, can work just fine. You just want to keep it to a splash and a hint versus a saturation. So in order to achieve that look, we're just going to take some very soft, muted tan colors, bring it up and over into the socket of my eye, all the way to the inner corner of my nose, but not touching that corner, staying right at the bridge of the nose. And then I like to take just a little softer color and apply it right on top. That just gives a nice, bright, awake look to the eye and softens your overall look. Avoiding any shimmer and glimmer at all costs. No under eyebrow highlighter. Trend number 7 that can be adding age to your appearance is a thick, dark eyeliner. A dark, thick eyeliner can not only make you look more tired, it can also make your eyelids look heavy and can make the appearance of your eyes much smaller. If you like a thick liner, opt for a dark brown or a dark blue so that it's not quite as harsh, but you get some of that color payoff. I like to use Violetta by Smashbox in their Always Sharp collection, and I just start with the corner of my eye and go up in a little flick motion. Hold very lightly on my eyes because as we age, our eyes don't need any help being pulled. And just draw that top line to your halfway of your eye and then fill it in, going right at the root of the lashes, coloring in between your lashes and meeting that top line that you drew right in the center of your eye, just like that. Adding that lighter eyeliner and not quite as thick, while it still defines your eye and your makeup look, It just allows the look to look more soft, trendy, youthful than a dark, heavy eyeliner. Now, trend number 8 is all about mascara. If you're like me, you love a big, fluttery, beautiful eyelash, but achieving that beautiful long eyelash can add to your age. When you mix formulas like a lengthening formula with a volumizing formula, and then if you add a waterproof or a tubing formula on top of it, your lashes can stick together and start to have that spider look. That look can be very aging on our more mature eyes, especially again, if you wear glasses, it just magnifies where your lashes have clumped together. So instead of layering multiple layers of mascara with multiple formulations, reach for an eyelash primer first to make sure that you've coated each lash and conditioned it for the best appearance. I like the Clinique Lash Building Primer. Let that dry. And then I like to coat it with 2 coats of the Idol Mascara by Lancome. Reaching for a mascara that's on the dark brown side can also help soften your overall look and coordinate nicely with your hair tone, your eyebrows, and your eyeliner. Next, we're moving on to trend number 9, and that is all about the blush. Now, with all the hot trends for blush and blush draping and blush under the eyes, it's easy to get caught up in all that is blush and start to think that it is the new thing. It definitely should play a nice, soft supporting role to your overall makeup look. As we age, a few things should apply when it comes to blush. 1, lighter is better, and avoiding that solid color. As we age and our skin tends to be more dry, a cream blush will absolutely look better on your more mature skin. If you're in love with your powder and you're just not going to give it up, then find a nice powder that is very flat in its color, minus shimmer, and isn't too solid of a color. Also think about finding blushes that are a shade lighter than your lipsticks. So when it's time to buy blush, pull out that lipstick collection and take it to the store with you if you want and find a blush that is a shade or 2 lighter than your lipstick. But in order to achieve that fun, youthful, glow from within blush look, I like to go in with a little bit of cream highlighter. This looks like a powder, but it's Kitten by Stila. I swear it is. It's silkiness. I don't know what they call it. Anyway, I digressed. I like to just go in on my cheeks with this first, and yes, I use my finger, and then I like to take a damp beauty sponge, take a little bit of my cream blush, dip it on the back of my hand just to make sure it's not clumpy, and then apply it very light-handed to the outer corner of my cheek, not going in any more towards my face than that outer corner of my eye. Maybe a little bit past the corner, but definitely not farther than the center of my eye. And not pulling it all the way back to my hairline. I like to start with a small beauty sponge because then I can put it right where I want it. And then I like to just pounce around that to soften those edges. And there you have a nice, healthy blush, glow from within, kind of youthful look. Trend number 10 is all about the lips. Now, I myself was happy when the trend was overlined lips, and that is still the case. With our maturely modified version of this, however, a few things have to come in play. Overlined lips doesn't mean darker lip liner, and that's a slippery slope and an easy mistake to make. Instead, you'll want to opt for a liner that is no more than 2 shades darker than the lipstick that you're going to be wearing. I recently did a video, I'll link right up here, on my favorite nude-ish lip liners that will cover a wide array of skin tones and skin colors. So if you're looking for a nude-ish type lip liner, then you might want to check that out. Overlining lips is still a trend that can work beautifully with our more mature age. We just want to make sure that we are overlining just 1 pencil mark outside our lip, our natural lip line, with the right shade that's not too dark. Staying with the lips is trend number 11, and that is liquid lipstick. If you are 40 plus, liquid lipstick is not our friend. It can be extremely drying on the lips, and most formulas, we pay for it for the next day and the next day and the next day. And usually that evening, there's just not enough Aquaphor in the container to make my lips feel moist and hydrated like they did pre-liquid lipstick application. To avoid that trend and have your lips still looking beautiful and hydrated, reach for a satin finish or a high gloss lipstick, and then apply that with a brush for the most professional and long-lasting lipstick look. And once you've completed that lipstick look, that takes us to trend number 11, and that is lined lip liner with your lipstick lip gloss. We've all not only seen this trend, but probably been guilty of it, where we line our lips with a darker lip liner, and then just inside of that, we apply our lipstick, leaving the outline. The way to maturely modify this and have your lips appear beautifully soft, very well put together and hydrated is to use the brush after you've applied your lipstick and just blend that lip liner in so that your lipstick goes right to the edge of that liner and almost blurs it. In the same way that we soften that line where our blush goes, that we sort of blend it and blur it out, same rule applies with your lip liner. And finally, trend number 13, and that is your Instagram look. We've all been guilty of scrolling through Instagram and finding pictures that have just this beautiful, stark, harsh line, very contoured, very highlighted, very beautiful, bold eyes look. That looks great on Instagram. And I can tell you by looking at those photos myself, there's a lot of Photoshop that goes into that look. That is not a look that we should be trying to duplicate when we are going to the store, for example, or to get a pedicure. Too much makeup can add years to your age. We've all been guilty of it. I know I'm guilty of it still. But too many layers with too many bright colors and too much dark colors, and then you add highlight, shimmer, glimmer, and gosh forbid contour, we have just added 10 years to our age, which is not what we're going for. So I hope this has been helpful to you to revamp your makeup look and just add some, well, no, not add, take away a few steps and make it a lot easier on yourself and spend more time out enjoying your friends and your family. Thanks so much for watching, everyone. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.